Welcome back, dweebs, to another episode of the Weekly Dweeb. With me, as always, is my good friend Kev. Kev, how are we doing on this fine Monday evening?
Oh, it's a wonderful day here in Ohio. It was close to 80 all weekend, James, and we had to throw the heat back on today.
Yeah, it's gotten weird.
You know how that goes. So I love that. Great weather to get caught up on your favorite streaming shows. Since they both release on Wednesday, you might need to
it's such a weird thing.
binge watch to catch up because that's weird. It's a weird thing to do, James.
It's a weird thing to do if they're not on the same streaming service. However, they are. If you know what we're talking about Invincible and The Boys releasing on the same day, overlapping. Odd. So weird. Doesn't make any sense, but we don't make enough money to make those decisions, obviously. But that's what we're here for tonight, folks. We have our Season 5 review of episodes 1 through 3 of The Boys. I just got finally caught up. Speaking of binge watching, it's been a week for me between that and catching up on Invincible. And I will immediately say it's very fun. I do enjoy it. We're going to start off with a non-spoiler section here at the beginning for folks who just want to check in and see what's going on. Love our beautiful faces. I am going to open this up with, this is very important. I have not seen Gen V Season 2. And I've given Kev full green light to drop spoilers once we get to the spoiler section because I do need some stuff clarified for me. There's been a few references and they're starting to become more prominent. I have seen Season 1. I kind of forgot about Season 2, and there's just not enough time in my life right now to be able to pull off a 8-hour run of Season 2. Just can't happen.
There's a quick binge, James. That's all right. I've got your back.
There's
when we get
anymore.
When we get to spoilers, we'll include Gen V Season 2 and probably some comic book stuff. But
probably.
Before we get into all that, I'll agree with you, James. So far, so good for the non-spoiler section. I think I'm interested into where it's going. I think I
would agree with that. Yeah,
where it's going. But I really like some of the decisions made so far with some of the main characters and their story arcs, which I really can't say any more than that without dropping major spoilers.
The story's good. I'm intrigued where it's going. We'll discuss a little in the spoilers. I'm a little worried about it. They do their art department, their CGI, everything they do is great. It's really good. It doesn't have the level of episode 6 of Invincible, like what the fuck is going on? But there is some, like, they do not shy away from the blood and violence. I'll say that. Like, nobody thought they would, but acted well. Carl Urban's so fucking good in that role. He's so good as Billy Butcher.
Yeah, agreed.
He's
he
awesome.
Really is.
How you born for that role?
Continues to fill that face of character you love to hate.
Correct.
He gets my Pete Campbell Award for this show. If you know, you know. Shout out to Mad Men. But some characters and the actors that portray him just do a wonderful job at doing despicable things, and then you hate that character, and then they do just enough nice things to kind of reel you back in, and then nope, you're still an ass.
Speaking of not nice things, though, we would be remiss to not acknowledge Anthony Starr's Homelander. He's fucking incredible. As good as Carl Urban is Billy Butcher, Anthony Starr is a psychopath in that role. Like, I don't know how he would sleep at night. Like, he's unbelievable. He's so good. He is so fucking good in that role.
It's so good it makes you worry, right? You're like,
a little bit,
like, how's the staff treated over there, you know?
Like, hope he's not method acting this, because Jesus.
Did he get typecast for this? But on top of that, you mentioned the effects looking good, the actors that have done well. They have also done a good job as with the audio. There is a certain cue that we'll get into in the spoiler section, that an audio cue that they have used in previous seasons that I feel like is being used really well so far in these first.
I'm interested to hear your take on it. Yep.
And when you add that great performance with all the supporting audio that really helps fill that space. I think it's well made so far. I've enjoyed it. While we are giving a spoiler warning, I think it's only fair to mention that you cannot talk about this show and address all the major points without it getting into political areas and without us
Oh yeah,
expressing,
very much
really what the
so.
opinions
Yeah.
of the creators are. So I guess that's not necessarily a spoiler warning so much as it is a trigger warning for some folks.
Oh God.
Uh, we're certainly not going to cover everything nor give you our own personal opinions on stuff, but we're going to, of course, address political topics talking
It
about the
is.
show. If that's not your thing, we do daily
You can't.
uploads Monday through
Yep.
Friday. We'll see you
Sorry.
next time. No harm, no foul, but you
Yeah,
might
like
as well
this.
just
It's such a
skip it now.
main part of this show now. And I think it's done very funnily, and it's very funny in a lot of places, but it is attacking society as a whole very head on.
It's getting into Simpsons prediction territory when you look at the timeline, and
Yeah.
we'll get into, I think it's episode 3 specifically when we talk about that. But now it's sort of it's out here calling shots now. It's making
I think it was 2
making
hit right on the head for me with the social media craze. It was 2 was really fucking right on the head with me. I was like, yep, yep,
your thumb is on the pulse there for sure.
yep.
Um, yeah, but generally speaking, I'd say if you have enjoyed this show so far,
Yep.
and for some reason you're also not caught up, go ahead and do that. Come back to us, let us know your thoughts. If you were one of the folks who around season 4 thought like, well, I don't like this direction because maybe you didn't see the theme coming, or it got a little too brunt for you, then you're probably not going to enjoy season 5. So if
Nope.
this applies to you, then again, we'll see you around. There's no issue
No
there.
harm, no foul, folks.
To
No harm,
to
no
each
foul.
their own when it comes to your media consumption. But yeah, I would say for those still on the non-spoiler tip, go get caught up. It's only going to take you a quick 3 hours, and then we'll be right back here to spoil everything, because there's major spoilers right from the gate, James. Like, both of these episodes had some, I don't know about if I'd call them cliffhangers, but they ended on some pretty huge moments.
Huge
lot to
moment.
take in for you as a binge watcher, right? Like, because you watched them both. Did you watch all 3 of these in one sitting, or did you watch
Over the course of 2 days? It was like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and then I finished the last 45 minutes yesterday. So
okay,
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
See, this guy is an idiot and didn't realize that they released the first 2 episodes together. So
you watched episode 1.
There's a massive ending, is how I'll say this. And then I had to sit with that for a couple of days. And it wasn't until, I think it was right after we recorded our Invincible episode, where I was like, all right, let me go back and refresh with the boys, because I know we'll talk about that, when I realized, oh, there's already a second episode. So I actually kind of hung myself out to dry there. So I had to sit with both episodes individually, James, for multiple days. And
you just stewed over it.
Yeah, I much prefer to binge shows. Give it to me all at once, please. But episode 3 did kind of keep things going, as far as we got big stuff happening, and they're really ratcheting it up towards what I think will be a good ending, although some casual dialogue from a minor character in the first episode makes me a little worried that the finale might be less than fulfilling. And I think that's the last thing I can say, James, without going into spoiler territory.
We have not talked about this at all. So anything Kev is saying right now, I have no idea what he's meaning, and I'm scared. Guys, I'm scared. I'm so scared. Yeah, let's throw that spoiler tag up there last little bit here. Give a couple seconds here. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. So, all right, Kev, shall we?
Let's do it. Episode 1.
Episode 1 is 15 inches of sheer dynamite. It is the episode of them when they are in the freedom camp. We'll get to it, ends on a monster moment. Man, they just been living that fucking life for a year. I kind of found it odd. They just fucking left them in there, pricks. They get sentenced to death, and then everything changes.
At one point, someone calls Starlight out for that, and I guess
yes,
just in case there's some folks who want to ride along for the spoilers but actually haven't watched it, we should say it's Huey, Frenchie, and MM, right?
Mother's Milk, yes.
Mother's Milk did not who Homelander didn't realize he had so much in common with, but
yeah, that's a funny thing. Moment.
So they are stuck, and at some point, someone calls Starlight out on this because there's a lot that she's avoiding, and that'll be a plot line that runs through all 3 of these episodes. So I'm sure we'll touch on it a couple of times. But she's avoiding certain things. One of them being Huey, and her excuse for that was that they're safer in there, which may have been true since we see that Homelander had been keeping an eye on them and knew all about their great escape plan. But
correct, yes, he did.
they've just been hanging out looking like that Rex Kwon Do guy from Napoleon Dynamite for the last year.
Yes, they just been it is it's kind of a weird thing where they're just left there for a year. Like there's a lot of time that has passed. And Annie's response is essentially that he's safer in there because Huey's not a soup. But yeah, that was kind of a odd thing. But then it gets sped up real quick when old boy Homelander's like, "Fuck this, we're executing him. We're gonna bring him out." And they all know it's a trap and but they got to do it anyway. So that kind of gets the ball rolling on everything.
Yeah, that is the inciting incident for the season.
Yes, the inciting incident's good.
As we're talking about it, I am sort of just having the onion is opening as far as how dumb this whole concept was of Starlight's, that he's safer in there. We're talking about Huey, who for the last 4 seasons has lived underground. At one point, even working for a senator or whatever Victoria Newman was.
Yeah, worked for, yeah.
And like there's a guy who can live off of ramen noodles in an abandoned school, right? Like, is he really safer in the what do they call them? Freedom camps, where you've got that psychopath Cindy up there who can just explode people.
That guy is fucking wild, who can just explode you. He's a little fucking spooky. You got the guy that's got the giant worm dick thingy.
Love sausage.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't know that was his name, so that makes sense. The old love sausage.
Yeah, do they ever? I think maybe they call it out once in a previous season.
Maybe I didn't catch it if they did. So,
but the first thing I'll say is most of, or there are a lot of changes that the show has made to the source material that I think are for the better, that they have built a better story in a lot of aspects than the one that we got in the comics. However, James, one of the saddest, most depressing changes that I think was just really, really bad, I wish they'd have done something different, was the character of Love Sausage, because that guy was one of the few allies that Butcher had that was a soup in the comics. He was
their friend? What the fuck?
Great character in the comic books. Although you could argue that the end for them was bad either way. So I guess he's just a poor, cursed character. But yeah, Love Sausage in the show. Mother's Milk finally gets back at him. They've had a nice little on and off over a couple of seasons. So that was one of those moments you were probably talking about before, James, where you're like, it's not quite invincible gross, but that one
wasn't great.
Stomach, huh?
Yeah. I'm looking up the comic version of him, and it just got a giant dick going down his leg. I'm like, okay, got it. That's the
Yeah,
love
it's part of the glorious 5-year plan. A retired superhero helped out the boys in Russia. It's a good time.
What a deal. But overall, we also get the worm guy. Let's not be remiss to forget about Mr. Worm.
The worm guy, a writer who is
Yeah.
the character I was referencing earlier, James, when I said he was the guy who said finales are hard to write, which
Oh fuck, that's a little. Now I know the exact line you're talking about. It's a little dangerous. Which
yeah.
it's also very on the nose for recent. You know, you can talk about Stranger Things. You can talk about a bunch of shows that have, whether you think they botched the finales or not. That's a pretty good line. But I hope it's not referencing that something's coming or this isn't going to end this year.
Did you watch Supernatural, James? Did that have an ending that left people flat? It'd be hard to
I don't know.
have a great ending on a, what was that, like 20 seasons that show had? How could you wrap that
Supernatural.
up and make everyone happy?
What is it, like 24? Yeah, let's look that up. Supernatural seasons. It's like 24 seasons or something crazy.
Maybe it's just a joke. Maybe it's like
15 seasons, 327 episodes, so way less, but it ran from 2005 to 2006 to 2020. 2005 to 2020, sorry. Yeah, because on the WB, then it went to CW. What a deal.
Yeah, so we can hope that this is more like what was it? One of the It chapters or something where Stephen King makes a joke about the lead not being able to write good endings to his novel. Maybe this is just our showrunner paying tribute to previous feedback, and hopefully it's not some very sad foreshadowing to what we're about to get.
I hope so. We hope.
But so far, so good, right? I mean, we've got I'm sure there's a couple other things, James, within the plot of episode 1 for us to talk about. But for me, the one thing that I want to highlight that I think we'll probably spend the most time on is A-Train and how perfect, for my money, his character ending was. How did you feel about it?
Great character development, great ending. You also knew he was toast the moment they showed his family. When they showed his brother, who has been in just a handful of episodes over the series, you knew he was fucking done. But great. Like, I love where his character ended up. Like, he ended up where I think he should have ended up. And he saved their lives and immediately knew he was fucked. Like, he knew, like, you could even, like, when he met with Starlight before that, when he's like, I ain't fucking doing that. He's like, I'm fucking toast. I do that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that shit. But yeah, I'm very happy where he ended up.
You know, if only he hadn't done the Quicksilver X-Men reference thing and had to, glasses up and do the super cool everybody else's slow-mo montage, he might have had just an extra second or two to avoid Homelander's eye blast. But what I loved about it, James, was on top of all that, like you said, he knew he was going to die. He gets that moment with his brother where he's like, you're finally a hero. And at that moment, if you didn't, you're probably signaled by the fact that he goes to talk to his brother that, yeah, he's going to show up when they need him. But if not, you get that reassurance from his brother that you're a hero now. So like, all right, well, he's definitely going. But the final master stroke was him avoiding that pedestrian. Like, that's what set this whole thing off,
all the way back to episode 1, season 1. Great callback.
And it costs him his life. And he has that, and it also adds so much to Homelander's series arc, but it's really being hit hard these first 3 episodes of this season, that people that he cares for, whether he's treated them well in the past or not, are just actively calling him out on his bullshit. So for it to kind of start with A-Train being like, you're pathetic. What was I afraid?
His lines to him right before he dies are so good. You're right. You're pathetic. What was I so afraid of?
Like, that's the way, everybody, if you would want to go out like a badass, right? Like,
you want to go out like that.
Most of us probably go out, crying and a little sad.
Yeah.
Nobody goes out that badass, dude.
It
That's
was
like
awesome. It was so good.
that's Hank from Breaking Bad levels of just
Yes.
going out on top, man. So extra
And
cool guy points for it too.
yeah, 100%. Great, cool guy death. Yeah, earned. Uh, it becomes a reoccurring theme of Homelander slowly. I mean, you could say he's been mentally broken the whole time, but he's starting to really start to crack in this series, and it's because all these people realize he's a fuck. They're starting to betray him. He hates them all, but it hurts him too. But he also, like, the American public, like, the people are hating him too. Like, you can't post a bad meme about him or you go to jail, which is a hilariously on the head thing. So Anthony Starr's doing a great job of showing all that too, and even like the scene, his funeral scene, post funeral, when Homelander's walking around, he's like, "Why'd you have to do that, man? Like, you were my brother." Like, it's such a great scene, and you're like, "This dude's fucking broken."
Which is a nice little foreshadow too to in episode 3 when he says to Ryan, look what you made me do. Like he is
Yes,
fully jumped the
yes,
shark when it comes to his
yes.
delusions. Where
Yep.
like I truly think, to bring it back to the other major plot point of episode 1, the Flight 37 footage, and that coming out, he
Mhm.
was ready to laser that whole crowd.
Yes, he was. He was ready to kill them all,
Keep
and
that
Sage
secret
stops him.
because that's been his biggest fear. And in that moment, he didn't realize that the machine has gotten its claws into his base, and so that he didn't realize how easy it would be, I think, to just lie to people and
Yep.
say, "Oh, it's just AI." Instead of it being his the speed blur from his hand, whatever it really was. Obviously, if you've watched all the episodes, it's not a fake video, but he was still able to
Yep.
just use Vought to say that it was staged, but he didn't think, like, Sage had to stop him from lasering every single person.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
he was going to.
we get the delusions later on in this series, or in this season, I mean. So we know he's going to get crazy, which reminds me of another thing I actually wanted to bring up for you, James. And you mentioned the funeral. What is it? What's the preacher guy's name? It's not Ezekiel, but it's the
I
preacher
know.
character who's married to Ashley,
Yeah.
and he has this voice power, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
Dune, right? He
Yeah. He's
can.
kind of got some. He wants to be Muad'Dib, but he's not. Oh, Father.
Oh, Father! I can't wait
Yes.
till they show us till we get that joke later with him and Ashley.
Mhm.
It's coming, especially if you've seen the episode 4 trailer. It's coming. But I wonder, James, now that we've got this whole weird thing where Homelander's being delusional, we keep hearing the violin cue, which was the audio cue I was referencing in the spoiler-free section, which has previously been used to let you know Homelander's about to do some really heinous shit. And now they're using it in moments where he's stopped right before he does the heinous shit.
Yes. Yep. Mhm.
I feel like it's, again, just signaling, like you said, that dude is cracking. But I
He's
wonder,
breaking.
is he just going nuts on his own, or is maybe Father influencing him somehow? Because we see Madeline Stillwell as like this weird angel creature.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird thing. Yeah.
Like, is being around the evangelicals in this situation, in this universe, is that just getting to his head to make him think he really is Jesus, or is it
Interesting.
Father
I
manipulating him as part of
I had not thought of that, and now I don't know, because I had not thought about that. I like to think he's cracking, but now you've got me thinking that maybe he's being helped along.
a potential
Good
seed?
question.
Because Ashley has kind of always played both sides. She seems to really just be interested in surviving this whole thing. And spoiler alert for the comics, but her character is who gets blamed for everything when there's the massive, cover up at the end, when the public gets the official story. So I kind of have that in my mind when I watch her character. Like, is she gonna get left holding the bag? But of course, we have now her powers revealed. She's a mind reader,
I
but
had
it's really
forgotten that she took Compound V, so I was confused for a second. I had to look that up. I couldn't remember. So I had to look that up to remind myself.
yeah. So had to take that to avoid Homelander's death
The death.
squads, but
Yes, correct. Yep.
um, so maybe, and they've planted the seed now. Uh, so I doubt that it's some sort of plan between Ashley and Father, because they in these episodes planted the seeds where she's having the arguments with herself. Like the face on the back of her head is kind of working like her conscious now, but I think that's also the
It's
part of her
so
that can read the minds. So
it's so interesting. Yeah, it's I forgot that she can. Yeah, I forget that it's read. It gives me like weird Voldemort vibes from the Sorcerer's Stone, the first movie. Um, she's weird as shit. It's weird.
That's right. I forgot about that. He's on the back of that guy's head. So yeah, I think that's something to pay attention to, and maybe it's completely unrelated, but also that is a potential path, because what it seems like this whole thing is setting up is that Homelander, more and more as this goes on, is going to lose his grip and his mask will continue to slip, and
Yeah.
he's lose that ultimate control, and even his allies are going to turn on him just because he's that out of hand. He's the biggest threat at that point. So enemies will
Yeah,
become
he's the biggest threat regardless, but he's a threat to everybody, Vought included, if he's mentally broken and unstable and just going to kill anything and everything that moves,
yeah. And so like even the characters like the Deep, who has had an interesting 3-episode arc so far, we've seen his life get threatened by the boys. I think that's why I think there's something to a potential theory that A-Train was keeping his brother and his brother's family. He knows that the Deep is looking for him, and yet he could hide his family anywhere in the world. He chooses to hide them by a massive body of water.
Yeah, by an
And
ocean.
after he's gotten them away, he comes back to talk to the Deep. So it was almost like that was his final attempt to plant the seed within the Deep, to be like,
Yeah.
you can do more than this. And so I think ultimately the Deep is also going to turn on Homelander. We've seen how quickly he'll turn on Noir just to get in
Great.
Homelander's graces, but that's all just survival. We've got enough of the Deep storylines throughout 4 seasons to know that he'll kind of do and say whatever it takes
To make
for him to be okay. He doesn't really care about Homelander. He just knows Homelander can kill him in 5 seconds. So
yeah, that's all he gives a shit about.
I think we may see moment where like the Deep and Huey have to work together, but by the end of this, because it's going to be all hands on deck to take on Homelander. Another question I have for you: what are your thoughts, James? And okay, we're gonna have to get into some Gen V spoilers here, some light spoilers, I think, but
That's
because
fine.
you're probably a little confused by the whole Black Noir situation and the Deep being confused as to why he won't talk, because that's
Well, yeah. So
Gen V storyline for the most part.
okay,
I think.
so I am a little confused there, and I guess you can help me out. I just assumed at some point he went full on. He keeps joking about method acting because he was talking last season because it was the replacement guy.
Yeah.
Now he's not. So inform me. Obviously, something happened in season 2 there to make that happen. So enlighten me, please.
Well, that's what's interesting, because he was also talkative in Gen V season 2.
Okay.
And so it is kind of weird to see that now all of a sudden he's mute again. So there's a couple theories going out. One is that the new Black Noir could be Sam in that disguise. If you remember Sam,
the white kid, right?
super strong, also crazy guy whose brother dies.
The cartoon scenes, yeah.
Yeah, the other guy who sees cartoons. So
yes,
there's a lot of sort of like poetry in that they rhyme going on if that guy does end up being behind that.
So we don't know for sure what's going on. So there's theory 1. What else we got?
Theory 2 would be polarity. So Andre's dad, if you remember him from Gen V season 1.
He is the kid. He's actually the real life actor that passed away in the motorcycle crash, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep. And so that character's dad is Polarity, who, because of the powers of Marie Moreau, got healed actually because she's got blood powers. And so now Polarity
Okay.
has been healed, and he is working with Marie Moreau, who at the very end of Gen V season 2, Starlight and A Train come to get the kids from Gen V, like the core
Okay.
group.
Who's Marie Moreau?
So
Is she the black
she's
girl
the
with
main
the?
character
Yep,
from
gotcha.
Gen V. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so, these groups are at least somewhat connected. Like,
Mhm.
even when to get into episode 3 briefly, when Starlight talks to Frank Edgar, Marie gets mentioned. Like, she set
Yep.
that
Yep.
up
Yep.
because
Mhm.
she knows Zoe and all of that stuff. Marie,
Yeah. Got it. Yes.
it's again, the Sam Edgar's whole compound was a callback to Gen V season 2 because that first got revealed in there. So
Got it. Okay.
um
Okay. 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 Okay.
so there's those two or I said strategies, theories that maybe he's under there. But the one thing that I remember is, I think this was original Noir. Homelander tells him, he's like, I can see under the mask, right? And so it leads me to believe that he would still be able to see under the mask. So it's making me wonder if it's hasn't, somebody that's been replaced by someone of Homelander's choosing, because he'd be the
Yeah.
only one out of that group who'd be able to know.
The
Um,
None of this is comic accurate, right? Because in the comics, it's a clone of Homelander, correct?
correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
it's too late in
which
the game to do that.
which is like theory 4, which is like, are they going back to the comic ending, and are they going to interject that version of the
Man, I
character?
think
I
it'd
agree
be
with you that I think it's a little late for that move.
little late in the game. There's too much going on. That would be a. I think it would usurp all the other storylines and kind of fuck everything up this
Yes,
late.
because the other part of that reveal, James, it wasn't just that there was a clone of Homelander that could potentially be
Yeah.
the backup, the replacement. It's that that clone went crazy because his one job, his one
Yes.
purpose in life was to kill Homelander, and he couldn't create a reason to do that. And so a lot of the crazy things that the Homelander character does in the comic, he didn't actually do. It was his clone
Mhm.
who would do those things and set up getting the pictures taken so that Homelander would lose his mind and be driven to take the actions that he goes on to take,
Yep.
which would completely
Undermine everything.
undo this show, especially when in episode 3 we have Ryan confront Homelander about
Yeah.
Homelander's relationship with his mother, and we have Homelander essentially admit to, like, yeah, I did that. So it's
Yeah.
sort of like, I think we've just deviated too far from
Yeah.
that version
You
of the
can't do it
character
now.
for that to be any sort of satisfying ending. And I would love to poll fans of the comic to see if that ending felt good for anybody the first time around anyway.
Yeah.
um I think, I don't know that it was the best idea the first time. So I think we're for that reason, and like I said before, that it'd be a pretty big plot hole that they'd have to wrap up if Homelander at one point has in the show said,
Yeah.
I can see under your mask. So like, he would definitely know if there were a clone. And Stan Edgar has the Ryan plan. Like, that's been
Yeah.
the show's version of what Vought tried to do in the comic. And instead they said, well, we have his son that we can train to be his replacement. And what we know from looking at Stan Edgar's cameras and seeing how that plays out when they're in his compound, we know he's been watching Zoe talk with Ryan. So he
Yeah. He
knows that
knows.
Ryan's still in play. So I doubt they would have had a
Yeah.
clone
I don't
at
think
this
so.
point. They
I don't
also
think
have
so.
Soldier Boy in play.
Yeah.
So I don't
What are your thoughts on Soldier Boy returning?
um,
'Cause
that's a good.
we knew he was alive because we knew he was frozen, but the last time we officially saw him, he was trying to blow up Homelander, correct? I'm a little sketchy on the exacts of what has happened. It's been a while on these seasons.
Yes, it's kind of like the other side of the coin of what's been happening so far in these episodes. He gets misled by Butcher. He's going after Homelander, and I think by the end he realizes he's been screwed over by Butcher, and he's content to take them both down. But yes, the last
But
thing
then he doesn't, and he also gets framed as a Russian spy or some shit, right?
exactly, yeah. Vought's the one that framed him as a Russian spy, which they would then
Yes.
turn on the fake news media, as they put it, and
Yes.
you know, and said, now actually we're on the Russian side now. And he was an
Because he was
asset.
was he in Russian? Was he frozen in Russian captivity or something? Was that what was going on?
Yeah, so
Right. Yeah.
his original group, Payback, he was such a tyrannical leader that had the
That's where he was
original Black
originally
Swan.
frozen. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, and so they turn on him and hand him over to the Russians, in
That's
part.
right.
A young Stan Edgar was involved in that, and then the Russians did all kinds of experiments on him and stuff like that. And then when he finally gets let out, yeah, he blows up a building, and they kind of
That's when his
story
return
is kind of like Winter Soldier-esque, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's his first
yeah.
return. Different than this one. Got it. Yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, he's been kept in Homelander's bedroom ever since the president,
Which is a
Speaker
great
of the
moment
House.
when Homelander's like, I just found out this morning and I released you right away. And he goes, so this capsule just got put in here this morning.
Your bedroom. Yeah. It's I do, and I think it fit well, the timing. I mean, the Soldier Boy character is great. Another one that I think is so easy to love to hate
Correct.
because
Yes.
of Jensen Ackles'
Jensen-
delivery.
He's so good. He's so good in that role.
The way, I mean, he says just some of the most heinous, like he's clearly
Off the cuff.
no, he's a racist. He says like he's an awful father. He
Yes.
just says awful things, but the
He
way
says
he
some funny
delivers it,
fucking shit too, by the way. Like,
yes,
there's a couple
yeah,
of jerking at jokes where I was like, wait a second, what did he say?
yeah. The poor puppeteer from Lamb Chop. I can't remember her name now. He references her twice
Yeah.
about banging and talking about
they do a great
chest
job
and
of
stuff.
like using. He references banging actors from that era. Like I'm like, they did a really good job of the research and doing this correct. He said a name where I was like, I gotta look. I paused. I was like, who the fuck is this? Looked it up, and it's the Lamb Chop actor. She was huge back then. I was like, I would have never had a fucking clue who this is.
Right. And so he says he says some ridiculous things, and so it's a nice back and forth. He makes you laugh, but he's also one of
speaking
the
of
worst
one,
characters.
I have to say, speaking of one of the most incredible funny things he says, he references how he's like, Homelander's the worst, is one of the weirdest fucking people I've ever met, and I had a threesome with Gary Busey.
There are so many.
Oh my god, that was so fucking funny.
Like when Sage talks about how the original Compound V is why he's alive, and she mentions Stormfront, and he doesn't know who that is, and then she says, then, oh, you knew her as Liberty. He makes this like little face where like in that moment he's like, oh yeah, I banged her,
Yeah.
where he's just like the little tiny things. He's really
he's so good at it.
He's really tuned into this character, I guess is how I'll put it. And yeah, the fact that it's just delivered in this way that does really, for me, it's reminiscent of what I expect, like an old military. Like it's very Captain America-esque, but like with him just being the most crass, crude individual. And I think it adds a good amount to the show.
Yeah.
And having him back in play, it's another factor. So yeah, I thought it was well timed.
I think he's I like him. I'm a big fan of him.
How'd you feel about the fake out? Did that do it for you? So
the
episode 2,
whole time. Knew it the whole time.
Yeah.
Didn't know why it was going to happen. They're just the way they frame it is he's off screen. So like they show him getting the stuff, but the Rock guy, his whole face like melts. The other, whatever the fuck that other weird kid guy is that dies.
Oh yeah.
He is like puking blood, and they show Soldier Boy, right? But when they show the camera, he's off screen. Like when they're looking at the security footage, he's off screen. I'm like, he's alive. I'm like, that's so easy. I like that it's explained in a way that makes sense. Like he's He was part of the original version of Compound V that was incredibly unstable and killed bazillions of people or a bunch of test subjects, right? So I don't hate that. The one thing I'm worried about is the ending of the show. Like, where are we going? Like, obviously, it's supposed to be this. They're going to use this gas, this virus, to kill people, right? Which kind of funnily is not so different from the most recent episode 7 of Invincible. I haven't finished it yet, but they're shooting darts and taking away power. So it's a little different, but they aren't just grotesquely killing them, but they lose their powers. Anyway.
Well, it's the Scourge virus.
Yeah, it's the kind of similar as these shows are coming out.
Weirdly parallels this show. Not the only Invincible reference you could pull from, especially from episode 3.
Yeah, I just worry a little bit about how we're going to get to, because my assumption is that they will eventually kill Homelander and there'll be an insane amount of destruction in the process of it happening. But if there's an out on this virus and they're chasing, like, it sure sounds like this V1 still exists in this compound in wherever land, in the fort, wherever it is in Texas. I'm like, what's the Fort Harmony? I'm like, what's the end game here? You know, I'm a little worried about it, but I don't know the comic endings or anything. If I do, it's been a long time since I looked at them, so I'm just a little worried there. But I'm okay with him being back. All things told, like, I'm very okay, because I also think he's going to be a part. He's going to have a part to play because Homelander just sends him to his death, and he's Homelander's a terrible fucking liar. Speaking of guys that make Homelander feel like shit.
Right. Yeah, he is a big part of that. I mean, that's the whole reason he gets brought back anyway, is just because Homelander's daddy issues.
Yep.
But yes, right. He's in a weird spot right now because his best move is to just sit and wait. Because if like he points out to Homelander, the Homelander is not ageless.
He's not immortal. Yes.
So he will die of old age, even if the virus doesn't come into play. Meanwhile, Soldier Boy does not have that issue. So he's the one who calls it out. I'll be running the 7 when you're shitting in a colostomy bag. You know, man, it's so good the way he just
so
every line. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to be in a similar boat as Ashley, as the Deep, potentially Black Noir, where I think it's going to go one of two ways. But I think what's probably going to happen is Homelander gets the V1 and is going to become invincible, pun intended, because I'm not the one who scheduled both of your shows on Wednesday.
Yes.
You wanted that crossover. Now you get it. And then for one reason or another, I think Soldier Boy is going to have to change his tune on I can just wait this dude out, and he'll be like everybody else.
Involved.
I don't really want to team up with these guys, but I got to take out Homelander, and then I'll take out Butcher. Because at this point, I think half of the boys probably feel that way. That, okay, we got to take out Homelander, but, you know, we saw Butcher tear a lady in half, you know.
They're like,
he's got to go, dude. This dude's a side. He wants to kill all of them. And they're dealing with that now. That he is outwardly saying, even to Kimiko and everything, like, you're going to have to die. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of them all.
It's either that, James. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just going to say, as far as endings go, I think it's something like that, or Frenchie, now that they have lost their other chemist, right? Now that Samir knows his daughter's alive, they booked it. He's not going to.
That Butcher killed his wife.
For old Butcher. So now that it's on Frenchie, I could see them possibly doing a thing where instead of making the virus so it kills all soups, making it so that it counteracts the V in someone's blood or something, and makes them from a soup to a regular human. Because for Homelander, like, that's a fate worse than death, and I feel like that would be
so funny
if they keep hitting on these full circle character endings. I think
that would be so
maybe the best way to do it. But I don't know how you get there without it feeling kind of hokey at that point. You're going to do the whole virus
like you said, it's got to be involved with Frenchie not wanting to kill Kimiko in the process of all this. Now that Samir is out of the picture, you're absolutely right there. What I was going to say is, you kind of led me to episode 3. There's 2 different scenes. There's 2 different Ryan scenes that I'm thinking of. It's Butcher and Ryan at the bar. Butcher's a fucking asshole.
Dude, he's so bad.
He is a piece of shit. He is the character you love to hate. Like, it just fuck, man. he talked Ryan into wanting to kill himself.
And then
to kill him all.
Minutes later was like, I just told you that so you'd do what I asked.
Yeah,
when
like, he said that, when he's like, you said it was my destiny. He's like, I just told you that so you'd do what I wanted. I'm like, Jesus. Which
that
then,
poor kid, man.
Yeah, that kid's life is so fucked. Which leads to him confronting his dad, Homelander, and just getting the snot beat out of him by him.
Which was a lot to take in. I'm interested in how they pay this off for Ryan, because he's got on both sides. He's got his actual dad, who had, I think, Vogelbaum as his father figure, the guy who clearly didn't like him. And then he's got Soldier Boy as his actual dad, and Soldier Boy talked about his dad treating him like shit too. So it's cyclical on that end. And then on the mom side, he's got Butcher, who just killed his dad earlier because his dad was so abusive. And it makes me really hope that somehow the cycle ends with Ryan, but it really feels like they're setting him up for some kind of tragic ending here.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him. Not at all.
That scene with Homelander, James, was hard to watch. So again, we called out the Invincible references. Everybody called this one out online.
It's not as... Go ahead. Oh, yeah, it's like Omni-Man, in season 1.
Except that Mark is in college when that happens in Invincible. So that's all I was going to say is, even though he's a superhero, it was really uncomfortable watching a dad just punch his teenage kid in the face like that over and over.
The angle they filmed it at too is so bad. Oh man, it's not as visceral and disgusting from Mark getting his guts pulled out of him, right, and the sounding, but it is every bit as disgusting. Like, and he just goes, and they're filming it from the camera angle where he's punching over the camera, and it's like, fuck, man, this is uncomfortable. Like,
to use a POV shot in that.
Yeah, man. Oh,
man, there's some paging Stephen King here with the.
I hope they sent a therapist right to Anthony Starr, because boy, oh boy,
right. That
he's man.
It was a hard scene to get through. Now, of course, we, much like episode 2, I'll give them this credit. I appreciate their willingness to avoid what I would deem like pointless cliffhangers. So they could have not shown Soldier Boy sit up at the end of episode 2 and let people think that maybe he had died. Although I'm pretty sure they gave that away with trailer footage. So I'm pretty sure everyone knew he really wasn't dead.
I don't remember. So
the trailers, but they could have done the same thing here with Ryan and not shown Butcher finding him. And
I'm glad they
started next episode with him breathing, but I'm glad that they have the restraint to
needless cliffhanger.
Go ahead and wrap
that.
And avoid that. Another question that I had for you, James, and this will probably help you fill in some blanks too about Gen V. Sister Sage, where do you think she sits with all this? You think it was set up in the previous seasons that she had a plan for everything, including Homelander. But something that you may not know is in Gen V season 2, it got revealed that the founder of Godolkin Thomas Godolkin, was not only still alive, but was dating Sister Sage. And that they had a plan to overthrow Homelander, but Godolkin, as soon as he tricks Marie Moreau into healing him, he just goes full on psycho. And to be honest,
what's wrong with him?
He got burnt a lot. He got burnt to a crisp in a laboratory fire.
Okay.
And so, in the whole season, there's this weird, creepy old dude that the superintendent or the dean or whatever is taking care of. Like, who's this weird guy? And it turns out because Godolkin has mind control powers, but he was limited because of his physical injuries.
Yeah.
So he manipulates Marie, and she thinks she's doing a good thing when she heals him. And then it turns out he's just this maniac psycho. They completely wasted what could have been a more long-term villain from they Gore the God butchered him, dude. They
got it. Say
they,
so.
they
Could have been an
kill him by
awesome
the end of the
long-term
season.
villain, and he's returned, killed, wasted all in one season. Got it. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Yep. He's
Gore
just
the God
some
butcher,
weird. He's some weird background guy for like the first 6 episodes. They finally reveal him, and I think he's in like episode 7, and he's dead by episode 8, kind of deal.
Fucking stupid.
Like,
I hate that.
all right.
Hate
Thanks.
that.
Felt like watching a Scooby-Doo episode. But anyway, I say all that just to say Sage had a plan, no longer has a plan with Thomas Godolkin. I think that, you know, she's one of the biggest obstacles to Homelander because
She always has a
smart
plan,
enough,
right?
But yeah, she's the one that's smart enough to make something happen. So what have you thought about what she's had to do so far in the first 3 episodes? And do you think she's still got a secret plan for getting rid of Homelander?
I think she's got something. I just don't know what it is. I don't have any idea because they're not tipping their cap. They're not tipping much on it. So I don't know. I think she does, but every wild decision Homelander makes throws a wrench into that plan, right? Like it gets messed up.
Yeah, like when he blurts out that Soldier Boy is his dad, I think he now is
like on national TV, right?
Yeah, she can't predict what he'll do, and it's messing up her plans that he doesn't know about.
Correct,
So
right? Yes.
it'll be interesting to see if she makes it to sort of the final battle. But speaking of final battles, we should probably get to the last real moment that I definitely wanted to talk with you about, which is, you know, Starlight runs off at the end of the episode 3. As we pointed out, starting with episode 1, it's been a theme with her. She's kind of running away from Huey and basically turning more and more into Butcher, but while doing that, kind of isolating herself from people she cares about because she can't handle the bad things that might happen. And Cindy,
I forgot. Yeah, she runs away at the end, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, because Maverick, who was living with Stan Edgar and Zoe, who Stan Edgar tells Maverick, Translucent's son, that Homelander killed him, which I thought was interesting, because Zoe already hated the boys, so I guess let's just have the other kid hate Homelander, and then you'll both help protect me from my 2 biggest enemies, I guess was the play there. I don't know why he'd have any love for Huey and the boys, but clearly he doesn't. But so Maverick goes out there once the Deep and Noir and Cindy and Dog Knot, I believe, is the other guy. They find him. The Deep on God, no cap, or whatever he says to Maverick, tells Maverick the truth, right? So now Maverick knows that Huey killed his dad, and he'd have to be kind of dumb to have not known that already based on how Huey was acting all episode. But so we get
he can't hide it at all. Terrible.
Such an idiot, dude. Come on, man.
Such an idiot.
You've been a spy for how many seasons now? You can't lie to a teenager. Come on, man.
Come on.
That's crazy. It's character regression for Huey, but it's probably for the best. Everybody else is turning into a real piece of shit. So I guess it's good that Huey is
trying not to.
Good. But he's getting his ass beat by a naked Maverick who is completely invisible. And then Cindy runs in and looks to just completely obliterate Huey, and doesn't realize that Maverick is standing in front of him. So it's Maverick that blows up. Starlight doesn't realize it either, and so she just immediately snaps Cindy's neck. And then Starlight leaves because she thought it was Huey, and she has a bit of an episode. So what are your thoughts on that? I've got some thoughts on the death of Maverick, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on that whole thing first.
It's a great fake out. Like, I also, again, never once thought Huey was actually dead because he was fighting him. I'm like, that fucking Maverick was right in front of him. I don't have much thoughts on Maverick other than, Jesus, Huey, like, get your shit together. But as a character, he's kind of irrelevant to me. Like he's in for about 2 episodes there, and that's really it. So I don't have much to say. Like I don't know if it's a missed opportunity or not. I don't know what he's like in the comics, anything like that. Glad Cindy's off the board. Fuck that person.
I'm glad Cindy's off the board.
She's a bad one to have as an enemy.
I don't know if there is a Maverick in the comics. I'm sure there's a Translucent, but I don't remember him being. The 7 is a little different. There's different collection of heroes.
Yeah, it's not
times, but I don't remember if Translucent was a big part of it. But the thing that threw me off about it, James, was it doesn't make sense to me how Cindy could ever accidentally pop.
I also agree with that. Like it's not like she doesn't have a straight line to him, right? Like that's she's looking at you, kills you. That's kind of I thought it was. I think that's a little fucky. It'd be
like, if she saw someone out from a crowd, like so much of the times we've seen her, they literally have her in a watchtower. She's doing crowd control in the Freedom Camp.
Yeah, so I think it's a cheap way.
It's like a weird, plot hole that has been created out of this because she also helped corral the students in the first season of Gen V. So it's kind of like, and now all of a sudden, it's not about who she's looking at; it's about who's closest in her line.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I think it was a cheap way to get out of a character that's pretty overpowered. Like she's very overpowered. That's a tough one to like. She just explodes you, right? The tough one. I can say she's completely overpowered. Also, Homelander is too, but just I think it was kind of a cheap way to get out of it.
Yeah, I'm happy they finally got rid of the 11 knockoff. All right, Stranger Things has been dead and gone well before its final season ever aired in some people's minds. But I was happy to see that piece off the board. I don't know about this whole Starlight storyline. It just seems like a way to keep the Huey Starlight, will they, won't they? Like, this feels like late stage The Office when they Jim and Pam getting a divorce for no reason other than will they, won't they again? Sure, we're out of ideas.
I agree. Like, aren't we? Can we not be past this? We're so deep into it, like
they got over. He was banging a shapeshifter and proposed to her. Like they got through that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now we're going back to I'm just a scared, a scared, almost like I don't want to call her like a scared little girl, but that basically it's like you're reverting back to being an idiot young person. Like after all the things that those two characters have been through as a couple, and before, like now is just gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna push you away.
She fucking ran away. It's like, I didn't like it.
Contrived, I think, is the word.
Yeah, just not a fan of it one bit. But I mean, otherwise it's pretty solid. Outside of my just a little like we kind of hit on it, the Cindy death and how they got there's kind of weird, and I worry a little bit about where they're going. We've talked about that. So, but we'll see here. I'm excited. We've got now that I'm caught up, maybe I can. It's a bitch to try to catch up on multiple shows when you're that far behind. I had to catch up on 6 episodes of Invincible and 3 on this, and then I'll try to sneak some Daredevil. Haven't watched any Daredevil. Haven't watched any Maul. I might try to catch an episode of Maul tonight. I've heard it's good. But yeah, interested, excited to see where it goes. That's where I'm at.
Same. Yeah. Despite ending it on a sour note, I suppose, I've liked much more about it than I have not liked. So
for sure.
Intrigued as to how it will play out for everybody. So I will say, and it's unfair because we're at different points. I'm much more excited about seeing the final episode of Invincible than I am at seeing how this thing's going to wrap up. But it hasn't lost me by any means.
No, we're just different timelines of where the shows are at. Like they shouldn't fucking overlap to begin with, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of like, well, okay, I'll check back in with you after Invincible's done, I guess.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so any final thoughts, Kev, before I run us out of here? I said we weren't gonna make it this long. I'm an idiot. I'm a liar. I'm a liar and a fraud.
Yeah, so that's my bad, gang. You know,
I should have known. Should have known.
A little long-winded over here, but no, that's all I've got for the fine folks at home today. I'm excited to talk about the rest of this series, and like we mentioned, putting a wrap on the Invincible season, and then we can dive into those other shows, James,
the
that
other
we haven't
shows.
gotten to. And hell, you know, the Bone Temple is still a must
Still haven't touched
watch
the
and
Bone
must
Tempo.
review.
Yeah.
This rate be Halloween season again before we get to that one, but we will get to it.
We will get to it. We will eventually get to it. Maul will probably just end up being a series recap because it's the easiest one of them to watch. Or maybe we'll sneak a half. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Weekly Dweeb. Please like, subscribe, and share. Comment your thoughts on the first 3 episodes of The Boys as well. Let us know what you think. Kev, outside of here, where can they find you at?
Go check us out on Carnage Media over at youtube.com/Carnage Media PPV or CarnageMediaPPV.com. We just had Carnage Fight Series 7 this past weekend in the Cube in Findlay, Ohio. It was an incredible show. Only one of the fights went to the judge's decision, and that one was a split decision. So it was about as close of a fight as you can watch. The rest of them were all ended early, either by knockout or submission. So you can still catch all of those fight replays when they are uploaded for free on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Carnage Media PPV. But other than that, as James is going to tell you, just noties on, baby, because we got more episodes of this show.
Yeah.
We have 5 days a week, and eventually some live show reviews back in the mix as well. So you're going to want to be notified when that happens. I think if you're here this far, that's my.
If you're still here, hit the button. You're still here. Just hit it. Just make Kev's night. Just hit that little button. Yeah, there's a lot coming. So thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Weekly Dweeb, our review of The Boys. I almost said Invincible. I froze for a second. The Boys. Until next time, folks. We'll see ya.